out there that says that the average UK adult only has £100 in their saving. £100 is not going to get you too far. That's just my personal opinion. Another thing is having the financial discipline makes a difference between two people on the same salary. Stress is a big killer. It's a silent killer. A lot of people don't realize it, but it can kill you. It's about having peace of mind. That's key in this life.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Kanyinsola. I hope you're all doing very well today. If you're new here, click subscribe. If you're coming back, welcome back. How are you doing? And I'm back with my quarantine chat, and today we're going to be talking about the importance of financial discipline. I was always going to talk about this anyway because before we had to do social isolation, because I had experienced a few things last year that really opened my eyes and just made me grateful for me being kind of smart when it comes to money. I'm not a financial advisor. I do not have a background in finance. I'm just the everyday girl who knows a thing or two about just keeping yourself financially savvy and just I know how to manage my money well, and I thought, why not share some of the things I know. I'm not an expert by any way, shape or form. There's some people that know way more than I do, but from my own experience, I think I'm doing okay. I think my two brain cells are working quite okay. And also I wanted to offer it from a perspective of someone who is a migrant, because I wasn't born in the UK, I was born in Nigeria. So before we get into why it's important to be financially savvy or financially disciplined, you have to know where your money is going. Okay, so how would you know where your money is going? I've touched on this quite a few times before, but you should have a budget planner. Some people like to know where their money is going in different methods. So some people like me like to just have the good old traditional budget planner. I got this from Realco for £3.50 last year, and it's honestly my favorite thing because I am the type of person, I like to write things down and see how it's actually going. When I write things down, then I feel like I've done something, I'm doing something, or I'm actively working on something. If I don't write it down, then it literally is going over my head. It tells you how it works. This is not my actual money expenditure or anything like that. It's just the example page that they've actually written, a template that the manufacturers of the book have done. It gives you like this brief overview. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this is not my handwriting, nor is it my budget. It's just an example that they created themselves. Expenditures you're going, and then at the end of the month you have a little summary page where you just say, where did it all go, how much did you save, how much did you make, and that's just an example. And I love it because for me it's in my face. I can't avoid it. I see it and I make sure that I input everything I've been spending inside it. For other people, they like to go digital, which is either by having a phone app where you can track your budget. I used to have that, but I never really kept up with it too well. But with the actual physical writing it down, I keep up with it very well. And then other people, they like to use Excel spreadsheets, which I think is also great, but I know myself, I'm not going to be opening my laptop every day or every week to see what's going on. It's just not going to happen. I know that there are lots of people who sell budget planners, which is all great, more power to them, but actually you can just go on Excel. If you open up Microsoft Office, go on the templates and you will see budget templates there for you, and you just adjust it and change it to what suits you and your spending habits. And it's completely free. You don't have to spend any money on it. You don't have to pay anyone to teach you how to do it. I will link down below the resources I think might be best to teach you how to do it if you're not too familiar with Microsoft Excel and budget templates. But the template's just there for you. You just have to adjust it to how you spend your money. Also, making sure you check your bank account every day. I have a banking app which I use to check my account and see where my money is going, how much I've saved, how much I don't have, how much I do have. It just helps me know where my money is going. Before you can become financially disciplined, that's just the first steps I would say that you should probably do. You need to know where your money is going. It makes sense to do that. So now let's get into the juicy parts about why I think it's important to be financially disciplined. We are living in a more multicultural world. Some of us have family members that live in different parts of the world. For instance, I have family in Austria, Italy, America, Nigeria. I have family all over the world. You grow friendships and some of your friends are in different parts of the world. Relationships, and your spouse might be from another country, and you have to join a union and your families are dispersed all over the world. And this is why I kind of felt it was very important to make this video. So God forbid now you have an emergency situation where you need to go back home because, I don't know, God forbid, one of your family members is sick, because you don't have the means to go back, or you haven't been saving, or you haven't thought to save for a rainy day or an emergency fund, and you are kind of stuck. Really, really sad that people can't go back, or people can't be there for their loved ones in their last moments. For example, it's actually quite ironic because this is now a year anniversary that my grandfather passed away last year. God rest his soul. So my grandfather lived in Austria for the most part of his life, and my mum got a phone call whilst I was at work, and she texted me. She was like, I have a dilemma, I need to tell you something. I was like, girl, call me. And she told me that, you know, she had got a call that her dad was reaching the end of his life. And I'm very stubborn. I was like, we need to go ASAP, we need to get out of here. And she was like, oh, I don't know. And luckily I've always had the habit to just save in case of an emergency. Even when I was at university, I always saved every week, because I was getting paid weekly then. Every week I saved 25% of whatever I got. So I'd always had that habit, or that mentality to just save for a rainy day. And luckily, because I'd always had that discipline in place already, it was very easy for me to book tickets on the day. So I think it was morning, afternoon, my mum had got that call. By the evening, we were already in Austria, because I made sure we got tickets and we were out of here. And I'm so blessed that we were able to do that, because my mum managed to spend my grandfather's last moments with him, and, you know, her last words with her dad was, I love you. And for me, that makes me feel so fulfilled and so happy, because if you don't have that financial means to get on the day tickets, and you know you have family dispersed all over the world, you might not have the opportunity. And we were so blessed that we went on that same day, because literally 3 days after he passed away. So God rest his soul. It wasn't an easy process or journey, but I think my mum has more peace knowing that she spent those moments with him. It's not an easy process to go through, but I'm glad that I had the foresight to just make sure always save, especially if you have family in different parts of the world. So like I said, I'm a migrant, and I wasn't born in the UK, I was born in Nigeria, and I know in my heart of hearts that I want to retire in West Africa. I know that there's no point blank period. I'm going to West Africa and I'm going to live my best life. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to live my best life in West Africa. Senegal preferably, but you know, we'll see. And I know, because I want to do that, I need to be a bit more financially on it, because if you want to retire in a country that's completely different to where you live now, you need to have a kind of plan or idea of how you're going to get there. You need to make sure that you've saved enough to get there. You need to make sure you consider things like accommodation, citizenship, all of that. You need to think about it beforehand and start prepping. And apart from that, I feel like people that are from the diaspora and all over the world should always have that kind of investing back home mentality. Obviously, so for some people, they don't want to invest back home, they don't want to go back home because their identity might not merge with the politics back home. I completely get that, but for some people, that is the dream, that is the goal. And I think if that is the case, then definitely make sure that you're saving, and you have a bank account back home and you're saving bit by bit. So in case if you are ready to go back home, you can. Also, if you are forced to go back home, you have a bit more peace of mind that, you know, I have more financial mobility back home. We've seen people getting their citizenship revoked. We've seen Black people getting kicked out of China and being assaulted and disgraced in China. We've also seen how the British government has treated people from the Windrush generation. So it just makes sense, if you are someone that still has strong ties or still wants to go back home, that you have that discipline to know that, okay, I need to be saving back home as well as saving here, as well as working towards something here. It just makes sense if you know that your position in the country can be volatile. It just makes sense to just say, okay, I'm going to save and just don't keep all your eggs in one basket, or in this case, in one country. Which leads me to another point. When I went back to Nigeria this past Christmas, I stayed in my family home, and it was very comfortable for me. I didn't have a need to go to a hotel. I was looked after. I'm not gonna lie. I was looked after. I was very well treated. Only because my parents thought to invest back home, and also just have something that if any one of us wanted to go back home to, relax, go on holiday, we could always do that. For me, I want to be able to give my own kids in the future that same kind of comfort and satisfaction, that you know that there's a place that you can always go back to, that it's good quality. That's like a good family investment to have, because that kind of investment can only come through having the discipline to do so. Moving on to my next point, the best part about having financial discipline is that you have more freedom. You have more freedom to access things that you normally wouldn't think to access, because you have more liquid cash on you, or if you are investing, you have more investments and you've invested in things that you can use long term. Freedom can come in many different shapes. So one can be home ownership, one can be being able to travel freely and being able to afford travel, being able to care for your loved ones if they need that care, being able to look after the vulnerable. It can also come in the shape of you having more options of to where you want to invest your money into, or what you want to do with your money. The more discipline you have, the more in control you are. Then you can say, okay, I want to buy this, I want to invest in this, I want to think about the wealth, my generational wealth. If you have that freedom, you can do that. Just like you would have more freedom to invest in things, you can also have more freedom to have fun with things. Listen, I'm very, very strict with my money and my saving plans. Every month I don't ramp with how much I save. I know the amount I need to save, and I will do it. But at the same time, if I like something, if I want something, honey child, please believe I will get it, because I have that. I know I can control myself, so why not treat myself? So another reason why it's important to be financially disciplined is if, in case you ever come across a situation of job loss. We're currently in the moment where we're seeing more and more people losing their jobs, becoming redundant, and I'm not trying to tell anyone how to look after their money, but we're seeing a very clear difference between those who have saved their money or have been very disciplined with their money, or those who haven't been disciplined, and we're seeing a very clear difference in how they're going to be surviving during this time. Some people are going to really, really struggle. Some people are going to keep afloat because they've always had that emergency fund or that kind of idea, like, okay, this is my get out. This is my get out strategy. If you don't have that, then at this moment you're going to be like, whoa. So it's a very eye-opening opportunity to see that, okay, saving isn't just depriving you of buying nice things, but it's actually helping you, giving you more security. There's a stat out there that says that the average UK adult only has £100 in their saving. £100 is not going to get you too far. That's just my personal opinion. Some people might disagree, that's okay, but for me, I want to know that if push comes to shove, I can back myself, I can handle myself, and I can hold myself down. Another reason is health. If you're not constantly worried about a bailiff being at the door, or what bills you have to pay, or how you're going to survive, or what you're going to do, you're not going to have as much stress in your life. Stress is a big killer. It's a silent killer. A lot of people don't realize it, but it can kill you. If you're constantly worried about money and constantly on edge and having sleepless nights about money, it's going to have an impact on your health. It's going to lower your immune system if you're stressed out. That's another big reason. And also having access. So I won't lie to you and say that it's always been easy for Black people to have access to the best of medical attention or medical care. It's not, and it's not always as straightforward as you need to save more, you need to be more financially disciplined to have the best access to health. But money has a small factor in the kind of things that you can actually access and that can help you with your health, in terms of the kind of food you eat. I'm always buying health stuff from Holland and Barrett's or these health shops. And I'm not going to lie to you, they're not too cheap. They're not too cheap. But guess what? They're keeping me alive. But if we're going to be real, I don't mind spending some money on products that will help my immune system, that will help my body flourish in the best possible way that it can. Another thing is having the financial discipline makes a difference between two people on the same salary. You could have person A who's also on 40k, that manages their money very well, has financial discipline and makes their money go further for themselves. And then you have person B who's also on 40k, the same amount, but because they don't manage their money well, they get into money mishaps, or they might have to ask for more money. They get into bad debt, because there is good debt, but there's also bad debt. And we've seen this happen in real life. I remember reading Grazia? I remember reading an article quite a while ago about this woman who was earning 40 or 80k. She had no dependents and she had a mortgage. However, her expenditure went longer than her money. This meant that she kept having to ask her parents for surplus every month. To me, it didn't really make sense, but to her, who knows? And you might have somebody else who's also on the same amount, but they're doing really well with that money and they have great savings. I will attach links to money diaries that I've read that actually exemplifies what I'm trying to say. It's possible that you could be on a really good salary, but because you don't have financial discipline, and because the more you earn, the more you think you have to spend. But for me personally, the more I earn, the more I have to save. And that mentality can only come from someone who's financially disciplined. So yeah, those are my reasons for why I think it's very important to become a bit more financially disciplined. Some of you might agree, some of you might not agree, but for me, those are just a basic overview of why it's important to know where your money is going and have a bit more control over your money. You can talk to people around you and actually ask, like, how can I seek help? These are the main things that have helped me. And notice I didn't really mention things that were too materialistic, because at the end of the day, it's about having the actual freedom, and spiritual freedom is very, very important. It's about having peace of mind. That's key in this life. Like, I read so many resources or watch so many things have helped me. I'll link some of the things I've enjoyed or I think are useful down below in case it helps anyone. I didn't come out of the womb knowing what to do with money. I had to learn along the way. I'm still learning, trust me. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you picked something up from it. If you did, let me know, comment down below. If you think there's something I missed out, let me know as well. I'm always happy and open to learning. If you haven't subscribed, press the subscribe button, like this video, comment down below. A lot of you be DMing me on Instagram, which I'm really grateful for, but comment down below as well. Share it with your friends and your family. And yeah, peace and love. Bye.